Tom Homan is a former police officer, known for his tough stance on law enforcement and border security. Over decades in public service, he became a long-time immigration enforcement official, eventually rising to become acting director of ICE under President Trump, a role that put him in the national spotlight. Homan was a central figure in implementing the administration's controversial zero-tolerance border policy, which led to the separation of thousands of families at the US-Mexico border. This policy made him a polarizing national figure, drawing both fierce criticism and strong support from different sides of the political spectrum. After leaving government in 2018, Homan didn't step away from the immigration debate. He launched Homeland Strategic Consulting, a firm that helps companies secure lucrative border security contracts, keeping him closely tied to the industry he once regulated and giving him continued influence over border policy. As the 2024 election approached, Homan's public profile soared. He became a frequent commentator on cable news, a sought-after speaker at political rallies, and a key voice shaping the national conversation on immigration. He promised a massive expansion of immigration enforcement if Trump returned to office, vowing to oversee the largest deportation operation in US history. Homan's rhetoric energized supporters and alarmed critics, making him a central figure in the 2024 campaign. His influence and deep connections within law enforcement and political circles positioned him for a major role in a future Trump administration, with many expecting him to return to a top post. But soon, Homan found himself at the center of a scandal involving secret recordings, a mysterious bag of cash, and serious allegations of public corruption, threatening to upend his career and reputation. Major news outlets reported on a plan to trade government favors for money, turning what had been a heated policy debate into a potential criminal case that captured the nation's attention. The story now raises fundamental questions about integrity, accountability, and the use of power at the highest levels of government, leaving the public to wonder what comes next for Tom Homan and for the country. The scandal erupted into public view after the FBI quietly launched a secret investigation in early 2024. The probe began when a confidential informant tipped off authorities that Homan was allegedly soliciting payments from business interests. In exchange, he promised to use his influence to help companies win lucrative government contracts if Donald Trump returned to the White House. The FBI took the tip seriously, suspecting a potential pay-to-play scheme that could undermine the integrity of federal contracting. Undercover agents, posing as business executives eager to secure border security contracts, arranged a covert meeting with Homan in a remote stretch of the Texas desert. The location was chosen for its isolation, far from prying eyes, to ensure secrecy and minimize the risk of exposure. During the sting operation, agents allegedly presented Homan with a paper bag stuffed with $50,000 in cash. The entire exchange was captured on hidden camera, providing clear visual evidence as Homan accepted the money. The operation was meticulously planned to document every detail. The secret recordings reportedly captured Homan speaking in hushed tones about his ability to influence the awarding of government contracts in a possible future Trump administration. He described his connections and the ways he could help steer deals, making his intentions clear to the undercover agents. Legal experts say this kind of evidence could support serious federal charges, including conspiracy, bribery, and wire fraud. Even though Homan wasn't a government official at the time, the law is clear. It's illegal to agree to take official action in exchange for money, regardless of whether the person currently holds office. The law makes it a crime to agree to take official action in return for payment, even if the promised action would only happen in the future, or if the person is not yet in office. The sting's video and audio evidence quickly became the centerpiece of the government's case, providing a compelling narrative for prosecutors and jurors alike. If proven true, the allegations would reveal a textbook example of a pay-to-play scheme, where access and influence are traded for cash behind closed doors. The secret recordings, both audio and video, were seen as crucial proof that a serious crime had been committed, and they would play a decisive role as the case moved forward. Just weeks after the sting, Trump won the election and named Homan as his new border czar, a powerful advisory role that doesn't require Senate confirmation. At the time, Homan was still under active federal investigation, making his appointment highly unusual and controversial. As border czar, Homan would have significant influence over the very contracts he was accused of promising for cash. This created a glaring conflict of interest and intensified the seriousness of the allegations. The appointment put the Department of Justice in a bind: investigate a top White House advisor or risk appearing politically compromised. The timing raised questions about what the Trump team knew about the investigation. Homan's new power made the unresolved allegations even more urgent. The stage was set for a high-stakes clash between law enforcement and the new administration. With Trump's inauguration, loyalists took over the Department of Justice, including new FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. One of their first moves was to review politically sensitive cases, including the Homan investigation. In early 2025, the DOJ abruptly closed the case, announcing it found no credible evidence of wrongdoing. This reversed the initial assessment of career prosecutors, who believed the undercover video supported felony charges. Critics accused the new DOJ leadership of shutting down the case for political reasons, not legal ones. The evidence, including the video and audio, was sealed away, never presented to a grand jury. Homan continued as border czar, but the sudden closure only fueled suspicion and demands for transparency. The fight now shifted from criminal prosecution to a battle over public access to the evidence. As news of the sting operation and the Department of Justice's decision broke across the country, the story quickly dominated headlines and airwaves, sparking intense debate and speculation. The White House responded swiftly, mounting a fierce and highly public defense of Homan, determined to control the narrative from the very start. Top officials categorically denied the allegations, going on the offensive and attacking the credibility of the investigation itself, dismissing it as nothing more than a politically motivated hit job orchestrated by the previous administration to undermine their agenda. Spokespeople repeatedly insisted that Homan never accepted the alleged $50,000 payment, directly contradicting a wave of media reports that cited anonymous sources familiar with the contents of the undercover video. The White House further argued that Homan's role was strictly advisory, with no official power over government contracts, though critics and analysts pointed out that his informal influence behind closed doors could be immense and far-reaching. The administration's aggressive denials energized their base, rallying supporters and casting doubt on the veracity of the story. But at the same time, these denials raised the stakes dramatically if the video were ever to surface and prove the allegations true. The White House's public relations campaign quickly shifted the focus away from Homan's alleged actions, instead questioning the motives and credibility of his accusers. Still, the lingering question remained: if the tape exists and shows what's alleged, it would not only expose a major White House falsehood, but could trigger a political crisis. The controversy only deepened the nation's divide, ensuring the scandal stayed in the headlines and fueling ongoing public distrust. With the DOJ case closed, watchdogs turned to the courts. Democracy Forward, a nonprofit, filed a Freedom of Information Act (FOIA) lawsuit demanding release of all records from the Homan investigation, especially the undercover video. Normally, the government can withhold evidence from ongoing investigations. But since the DOJ declared the case closed, that argument no longer applied. The DOJ now had to justify keeping the tape secret, with few legal grounds to do so. Legal experts said the public's interest in potential corruption outweighed privacy concerns. The judge could order the government to produce the tape for private review, confirming its existence and contents. This legal battle became the new front in the fight for transparency. The administration faced mounting pressure to release the evidence or explain its absence. The outcome of the FOIA lawsuit would be pivotal in resolving the dispute over what really happened. The revelation sent shockwaves through Congress, with Democratic lawmakers demanding answers and oversight. They cited Homan's financial ties to border security contractors and warned of the dangers of the revolving door between government and private industry. Representative Jamie Raskin and others called for a full investigation into both Homan's actions and the DOJ's decision to close the case. Lawmakers argued that even if no crime was charged, the ethical implications and potential conflicts of interest demanded scrutiny. The controversy threatened a major clash between Congress and the White House. The administration dismissed the affair as a partisan witch hunt, deepening the political divide. The fight in Congress paralleled the legal battle over the FOIA lawsuit, both aimed at uncovering the truth. The future of the Homan scandal now hinges on the FOIA lawsuit. The DOJ must respond to the court, caught between the White House's denials and media reports of a damning video. If the government claims the evidence is missing or destroyed, it could trigger discovery and depositions of DOJ and FBI officials. The judge could demand to review the tape privately, forcing the government to produce it or admit it cannot. If the tape surfaces and matches the allegations, it would create a political crisis. If not, suspicions of a cover-up would grow. The legal proceedings will determine whether the public ever sees the evidence. While the criminal case may be closed, the public's quest for the truth is just beginning. The hunt for the undercover tape will define the next chapter of this unfolding story.